Greetings, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we're going to be considering some of the spiritual gems comments for the week of July 8th to 14th, 2024. So friends, we extend you a warm welcome. And now, let's jump right in. In this week's Bible reading, we have the book of Psalms 60 to 62, these chapters for consideration. And let's start with the first question. It comes from the book of Psalm 62, verse 11. Let's read it. It says, "Once God has spoken, twice I have heard this, that strength belongs to God." So the question is, in what way does strength belong to God? And this is in the sense that God is the source of any strength. God doesn't have to depend on any external source of energy. He's the very source of power. Strength belongs to Him. A practical lesson from this point is, and this reminds us that Jehovah is the strong one, and just as He gave strength to His servants in the past, He'll also give us strength in these difficult times. Actually, He's been giving us the strength what we need to face these difficult days. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. It says, the next question, what spiritual gems from this week's Bible reading would you like to share? And let's start with number 1, and this comes from the book Psalm 65, and this verse says, "So that your loved ones may be rescued, save us with your right hand and answer us." So this verse teaches us that Jehovah saves His servants, and that we must trust that He'll provide a way out, and and help us to endure the storms of this life. Number 2, the same verse reminds us of the words of Jesus Christ to pray at all times, to be considered worthy to escape the things that are coming. This is in Luke 21:36. Number 3, Psalm 66. Let's read it. And this one says, it is related with the other verse. God has spoken in His holiness. Okay, His holiness. This reminds us that Jehovah is a holy God, and He expects His servants to be holy as well. That is, clean in a moral, physical, and spiritual sense. Number 4, Psalm 68. This says, Moab is my wash basin. Over Edom I throw my sandal. Okay. This expression could have indicated contempt for Edom, since Moab is called my washing pot or wash basin in the same verse. And an interesting detail is that in the Middle East today, throwing the sandal is a gesture of contempt. Number 5, Psalm 60:11. This verse says, "Help us in our distress, for salvation by humans is worthless." So this verse teaches us that the one who really saves is Jehovah our God. In fact, through our Lord Jesus Christ, He paid a ransom to save us from sin and death. 6. And the same verse teaches that the salvation of the soul comes directly from Jehovah, not from any other human leader. Many people put their hope in their human leaders, political, religious leaders, social leaders who have stood out in different fields, but this way of thinking is deceptive because God is the source of life. Number 7. 61:1 says, "Hear, O God, my cry for help. Do pay attention to my prayer." So this verse makes us think about how important it is to express in prayer our confidence that Jehovah hears our prayers. 8. 61 verse 2 says, "From the ends of the earth I cry out to you when my heart is in despair. Lead me onto a rock that is higher than I am." This verse teaches us that there are times when we feel desperate and weak. We feel under the weather. In such situations, it's important to cling to Jehovah instead of turning away from Him. 9. 61:8. This verse says, "Then I'll sing praises to your name forever as I pay my vows day after day." So King David, he wanted to glorify Jehovah in ancient Israel until he died. But on the other hand, this verse reflects realistically what David will be able to do in the future once Jehovah brings him back to life. In other words, David understood the purpose of life is glorifying, honoring, worshiping Jehovah. And that's the opposite that many people are doing today. They prefer to worshiping and glorifying the creation instead of the Creator. Number 10. 61:8 says, is the same verse, and this teaches an interesting point. Let us back up our promises to Jehovah by opening our hearts to Him in prayer, honestly expressing our fears, desires, and weaknesses. Praying about a promise will strengthen our resolve to keep it. 11. The same verse. This is the third gem from one verse, from the same verse. Remembering our vow or dedication to Jehovah can help us every day, especially when difficult days come, days of discouragement, days of disappointment. Instead of getting angry with Jehovah, we'll remain faithful to Him at all times. Okay, friends, that's a summary of the spiritual gems for this week from this week's Bible reading. And that's a wrap for today's video. We hope you have a wonderful day and hope to see you in our next broadcast. So, be safe and see you next time.